The parachain auction testing has finally started on Rococo Test Net, and I'm super hyped about that because this is obviously one step closer to finally seeing that parachain auction, the long awaited for parachain auction, come to fruition, first on Kusama, then on Polkadot. Now the testing is taking place on Rococo Test Net, which is part of Polkadot, but of course it will happen on Kusama once everything goes okay and smooth on Rococo Test Net. So we are very close. It does mean though that it's unlikely that we're going to see the Kusama parachain auctions happen this month. It could likely be next month by the looks of it, just because the testing has just started on Rococo Testnet and these things take time. But yeah, Polkadot have basically tweeted here that Akala has won the first parachain slot auction on Polkadot Testnet Rococo, and now Akala occupies the first public parachain slot on Rococo. And I'm going to actually show you where you can actually get this information from. If you don't already know, you're going to find out in this video, so please stick through till the end. But if we scroll further up here, there's actually a guide on how you can test the parachain auctions and Crowdloans. Now, I have searched for the faucet for Rococo on matrix.org and I just can't seem to find it. I've looked through their documentation. I think you may need to actually install some software development toolkit first, and I haven't actually downloaded their DApp or their app within matrix.org, because I think you need to install something there and then you'll be able to generate that Rococo faucet to be able to send ROC, because you need ROC in order to take part in the testnet parachain auctions. And now to actually move on to the wallet here. So when you go to the Polkadot.js wallet, and if you don't know what the Polkadot.js wallet is and how to use it, please check out the tutorial. I've done the detailed tutorial where I show you every single piece of information within the Polkadot.js wallet, how to install the Polkadot.js browser extension and so on. It should pop up on the top right hand corner of the screen if you're watching this on YouTube. If you're watching this elsewhere, check it in the description of this video. But the first thing you should do is switch to the live network of Rococo, or not the live network, but the test relay and parachain network of Rococo. So actually when you go to the top left hand corner here, the live networks are obviously Polkadot, Kusama and so on, but then further down in this tab we've got test relays and parachains, which I've spoken about in various videos, but I am assuming that this is the first time you're watching this, so I'm treating it as such. So here we can see Rococo, which is the testnet version of Polkadot. So basically you're clicking on this, you click on switch, and then once you do that you're going to be in it. And here, once we're in Rococo, you can see these are all the different ongoing test parachains. Well, not really, because they're not actually launched yet, so we'll look at that in a moment. But if you click on network and you go to parachains, here you can see the actual parachains on the test network of Rococo. So here we can see Akala Mandala is the first one to win it. Again, Tick, Trick and Track are some kind of tests created by Polkadot in order to test the functionality of the parachains, but they don't actually represent any real parachains. So this is just Rococo only. As you can see, it does say Rococo here in the bubble. This is probably made as a joke, right? Tick, Trick and Track. And yeah, Akala Mandala won the first one. We can see they've got 3 validators running, just like these 3 also have, and their life cycle is a parachain. You can see they're already generating blocks because the validators are running. And we've got the parathreads down below, and again everything starts as a parathread, and it actually has to win the bid in order to become a parachain. So parathreads are the pay-as-you-go model. There will be projects that will only become a parathread because they don't need to have that 24/7 availability. Basically what that means is that the blocks don't need to be generated every couple of seconds, or you know, they don't need to be active, constantly active. It could be something like a weather DApp, for example. And a weather DApp can perfectly use a parathread, does not need a parachain, because you're not going to be checking the weather every single few minutes or every single second, right? You're going to be checking it maybe once a day, maybe twice a day, maybe even 5 times a day. So for that, because you don't need a high availability, you can just have a parathread, which is the pay-as-you-go model. It is cheaper, so hence why for this testing they're doing exactly the same. They're setting up parathreads to start off with, and then they're going to be deploying. Obviously they're going to be bonding as a parachain if they win the auction. So again, this is just testing, right? Doesn't mean anything. Anyone could win this auction, but we can see here that the idea here is that they're going to start the next auction, and then you'll be able to bid for any of these. So it could be Darwinia, it could be Fala, it could be Chainex, it could be Bifrost, Zenlink, Light Entry, Plasm, Crossed, Kilt, and Hydra DX. I think this is here. based on the logo. I don't know why they call it Hydrate, but I think it's Hydra DX. So yeah, all of these, as you can see, are parathreads, and yes, any of them could win the auction. It doesn't matter because this is all for testing purposes. Of course, we want Chainx to also win, we want Darwinia to also win, we want Fala. Anybody who's watching this channel supports one of these, or maybe even Crust, because these are actually tradable. You probably hold a bag, so obviously you want this to go into the spotlight, but it doesn't really matter because this is just testing. So yeah, eventually all the parachains from this list are likely going to connect because they obviously need to test their functionality before they will partake in the real parachain auctions on Polkadot, and of course the equivalent on Kusama. But what's interesting here within this tab is here we can see we've got the auction tab and also the Crowdloan tab. So what this tells me is that we're going to have these tabs available to us for the real parachains and for the real auctions. So this is where we're going to take part. Obviously not here because this is for Rococo, you actually need Rock. But here it kind of gives you a glimpse, a general idea of what to expect before the real parachain auctions kick off. So here you can see we've got Chainx on the topmost one as the latest bid, Plasm, and here you can see how many rocks or rock tokens, I think they're called rock tokens, have been actually used to bid for the specific parachain in order to help them bond. As you can see, there's a Crowdloan here. Not all of them are Crowdloans. These ones are not part of the Crowdloan. And yeah, as you can see here, they bid this much, and obviously they're still running at the moment, and until they end, which is in 13 hours and 12 minutes, then we're not going to see. And again, this ending period is like a predetermined one, but again, they could end at any point. So it could be that the second one, as you can see, we are in the second auction, so at any point this one of these could bond the parachain, and then we're going to be seeing it in the overview section here. So yeah, this is pretty much how it looks here. We've also got the Crowdloan here area where you can actually contribute if you have MROC. I think this actually means million rock, so I think you just need rock, just the rock token. You can contribute by clicking on contribute, but you cannot get the rock token in the faucet because, like I said to you at the beginning, it's just not I just don't know how, right? I just don't know how. Anybody who wants to become a parachain knows how, because they're developers, they've installed the software development toolkit, they've got the faucet set up so they can send themselves rock for testing. But obviously if I had some rock for testing, I would have contributed too, right? Because I wanted to see how it looks in action. So maybe if at some point I discover how to get rock for testing, I will be doing another video where I'm going to show you how to basically contribute. But it should be pretty straightforward. You click contribute, you choose the amount, and you submit a transaction. So this is how you're helping a specific parachain bond by voting for it. And again, it is recommended to vote for multiple ones because you never know who wins the auction, even if it may be your favorite project that you're supporting. Like say, for example, in my case, my favorite is Chainx, second favorite is Darwinia. If I was to support those, I would likely support two of them and maybe even a third and a fourth, because you never know who really wins the first auction. So if you miss out on that, you're not going to get the tokens and your dot is not going to get bonded. So it's very important to keep that in mind, that whichever one you're going to be supporting, you want to be comfortable to actually get their tokens and lock your dot for up to 2 years. It all depends on the period that they want to bid for, because some of them are going to set up a minimum 2-year bid, which means you're not going to be able to bid for any less than that, and some of them will have that flexibility between 6 months and 2 years. It all depends on their necessities and what's the minimum amount of time that they want to have that parachain for. So yeah, this is pretty much it. It looks pretty nice here and looks pretty straightforward, right? You get used to this if you play around with this for a moment, and you familiarize yourself with it by looking through it and just looking at these different options here. But this is pretty much how it's going to be, guys. This is how it's going to be. So yeah, thank you very much for watching this video, and I'll see you in my next video. Take care. Bye-bye.